I remember the footsteps, steady and strong. Through the storms of life, you carried me along. Your hands held the weight so I could rise. You gave me wings under open skies. This is your legacy, a love that never fades. Through every season, your strength remains. You built a home upon the rock above.
Welcome, welcome, welcome. This is Adrien Venus, your quantum love coach. I'm so delighted to welcome you to this presentation, my masterclass with the title Make Love Your Legacy, the Destiny of Becoming a Love Coach. So welcome, and I'm really glad that I can share very valuable material today. And I just really hope that you enjoy the presentation. And if you have questions at any stage when you listen and watch it, then please, just reach out. We are always here for you. Yeah, why are we here? There is a time in our lives where a lot of crises, but equally opportunities are arising in modern relationships. We're going through a massive metamorphosis. I see it particularly in the younger generation of newer lovers, probably those in their adolescence, their 20s and early 30s nowadays. The values are shifting. The idea of what relationship is in the modern and in the 21st century is very different to 30 or 50 years ago, when we started being in relationship with partners who we were very, very, very certain that they are husbands or wives forever. And then we had to learn through very, very painful processes that actually what we knew about relationship then is still not even not even the tip of the iceberg is touched nowadays, even to really look deeper to how we can actually develop more and more skills and more wisdom, bringing into our own lives, and also not in our own lives, into the lives of others. So there's so much to learn and so much to gain from actually diving into understanding relationships better, that it would take probably days and days to speak more in detail about it, but I want to really go just into the bigger vision of what I'm trying to message here today. The vision is really a healing love worldwide through conscious relationship coaching. So my idea is really to help, as being a love coach, to widen the horizon, to create some kind of vision that there is in many of us the ability to help relationships so much more than we are conscious about. My name is Adrien Venus, also known as Adrien Hartigan von Strauch. I work as love visionary, executive coach for particular career changing and career upgrading women at this point of my life. I seem to attract quite a few very, very interesting women who have, lifestyles where they really have big goals, big visions, and big legacies to fulfill. And I help them to shape their destiny. And very recently, I decided to be the founder of the so-called Global Love Coach Academy, a business that will launch very, very soon in only the next 2 to 3 weeks. And I will share more about that later. But my story is really quite simple and quite all embracing. I can say that my life, and particularly when it comes to relationships, is filled with incredible highs and very, very deep lows, from heartbreak and healing to building a life of love, service, and purpose. So I was very lucky to have, in my earlier phase of my evolution, a very, very positive relationship experience, which then ended very painfully. But I have to say, the way I learned to love, the way I learned to be intimate, and the way I learned to be a sexual being was really, really in a very positive and very, very empowering way. So anything later was just more and more and more experiencing, adding to it, which ultimately quite early in my evolution made me aware that I had a gift to helping others in relationships. So I was often a very good friend or colleague or the person who would be consulted, what to do and how to go about certain things. I even wrote the love letters for my girlfriends to give them to their wanted boyfriends. And sometimes it worked really out and sometimes not at all. But there was something in me that always did strive for this sense of harmony and deep, deep love between one another. And I think that value has been very, very much part of my evolution. So also sharing that the switch to become a love coach was not one in one particular moment to say, oh, now I'm a coach or something like this. But I feel that it was something that did exactly evolve out of what I'm sharing here. Why do relationships need professional support now more than ever? The life's ABC. So what are the ABCs? The A is the deep anxiety when we're facing something we don't want to face. B is the big, big burnout we're facing when we are overly ambitious and when we are very, very, very much in a professional setting in particular, or in a home setting where things are really hard and very straining on us. So burnout is probably, particularly for males, a number one feature which affects so many marriages and so many relationships nowadays. And C is the simple word of crisis, that we are going into crisis phases in our lives. So I had been through personal circumstances, or circumstances of my family, may it be illness or accidents or unwanted situations. I was very, very pushed to my limits. And at one point, I had a very, very big Sophie's choice to make, to choose a marriage or being with one of my children. And ultimately, I did choose my child, which was something that I could look back now. I could easily say I would probably have been in a very, very positive situation with a husband who really loved me. But this particular situation demanded for me to be very, very, very sincere. And my daughter is very grateful nowadays, having had this time with me in transiting into a lifestyle that was maybe not the one we really, really had envisaged when I was a married woman. But later on, new relationships came and more beautiful things did happen in my life. So I really know to tell the stories of having had a very, very, bright and abundant and loving and very, very fulfilled phases in my love life, and also very, very unwanted and darker moments where I had to face really, really a very, how can I say, a side in my karmic evolution where I learned that it had something to do with those who I was, related to ancestrally. So my parents, my grandparents, there's a whole story that actually almost did repeat itself. And before we actually look at it and understand that a lot of what we are experiencing in our own lives is something that somehow has been happening in this evolution before to one of our mothers or grandmothers or fathers or grandfathers. So here comes this wonderful twist where my work became incredibly profound, and from being more a spiritual agent and training spirituality, I found this whole segment of relationship healing so fascinating that becoming a love coach was not something saying I coach love. It was I wanted to be a spiritual agent for relationships, helping them to heal. So a relationship healer versus a love coach could be two different things. But if I ultimately want to integrate the whole idea of what love coaching really is, then the healing aspect is certainly one of the biggest parts. And I will talk about what it is and how we do that a little later. But Love coaching often is just some sort of misunderstood. Some think it's, couples therapy or marriage counseling. Yes, it's certainly a big part of that. I work with couples, but actually much, much more with singles and with individuals, because ultimately a relationship is made out of two singles and two single individuals. So if you think about, the uniqueness and the individuality each one partner bring into a bond of two beautiful beings, creating a marriage or creating a committed relationship, I think we need to fully understand that, that gift of preserving what we really bring into it and who we are in it is so valuable. And often this gets lost because one person feels more in the shadow of somebody else being very, outgoing and more extrovert and more the one who leads the relationship. And yet here is so much to resolve and to integrate. And often that is not really seen as the main reasons why relationship would not work. And often it's then that in these moments when one partner doesn't feel their needs met, that they leave and not even address really what it is that could change in a relationship to make it work. And that's my biggest vision, to actually bring this communication and this understanding about relationship healing into a new picture. The sacred work of love is coaching as service, transformation, leadership, creating a sustainable future. And I really speak about the profession now, about the work, the sacred work of love. And it starts with ourselves. And my vision would be that even if many people who are interested in the concept of love coaching never become love coaches to coach others or make it a profession, I really hope that this next generation, particularly those of being in their 20s and 30s right now, gain the wisdom over the years to have relationships. They act out as if they are coming from a really educated place in their lives, all right? It is about relationship education and something that every person who relates is benefiting from. So really what we are speaking here about is not just the dream of having a job or, a career. It's also really the understanding that these tools can help us in every way, in many situations related to those we love and to those we work with. Who becomes a love coach? Usually I find in my realm of influence, those people who have a more heart-centered personality, conscious men who have already gone through these pain points and realizing that, dating till the end of history, and not really committing is not what they want. They want relationships with somebody they really can deeply trust and follow in their own way. Men actually want to follow women without us women being really in our real empowerment and wider understanding about who we are, and men finding, in us that treasure that I want to follow. So something in us women really is always available that gives a man or a partner this real opportunity to open up. So, feminine energy is needed for masculine to open up. And that's something which we will also dive into in a more refined way, not so much in this masterclass, but would you decide to have a conversation with me and continue the journey? What are the signs really that you being called or that somebody is called to look deeper into this work, recognizing your unique personality and soul's invitation to this path? I think personality has a lot to do with it. As I said, the heart-centeredness and being more a person coming from a compassion, from seeing human beings as whole beings, and some, kind of creatures with deep intelligence, rather than, what can I get out of a relationship? The giving and the receiving being really, really in harmony. That's a very personal strength to develop. I think when you become a love coach, that you get very, very clear in that exchange of harmonic energy. And the soul knows whether being in relationship with people you can help is something that truly, truly is your calling. Now, the 5 signs that you're meant to be a love coach. There is the first sign: you are a steady voice in the emotional storms. People turn to you with their deepest relationship questions. They trust your heart. Here's the heart element, Here we read really clearly that there are these women, there are these men, they are called first before a professional or even the own partner is addressed with the issue. And usually that's very, very powerful, because when we have the exchange and can voice our emotional, deep feelings, then that's often the first big step to healing. And I think here, if you already know that you have that in you and there is a part in you, you really feel a calling, then please listen to that, because your heart maybe has the capacity to grow immensely over time, to give more and more and more people a chance to be happy in their lives. Secondly, you feel deeply and a deep sense what others often miss. And your emotional intuition is a gift and a guide to others. So there is this real depth, Some people would say you're more an emotional being than a logically thinking being, For those of you who know human design, in human design, there is that element of the emotional signatures, their creatures. It's just really, really high. And for those who maybe are more driven to think and operate from an logical and intellectual being, there's still the chance to develop the connection to the heart. And ultimately, it's the integration, it's the coherence between the mind and the heart that makes us outstanding love coaches. Number 3, you still believe in love. A lot of people say, particularly, around COVID and this whole, online dating not being really, really so successful for many, many people. And so many people, there's disillusion, there's giving up, there's, they don't believe in it. Why would they? And particularly after heartbreaks, particularly if something happened that really, really shocked your heart or gave you something that unforgivable in a way for you, you think I cannot get over that. But love is sacred, and we can never ever force somebody to forgive somebody just because we think it's time to forgive. It's an evolutionary process in every individual to decide when they're ready to do that. But you can be, for a person, a protector, and love is a sacred process to dive into. So if you have the privilege to help somebody out of heartbreak, then it's actually a very, very rewarding experience, seeing them going back into life with renewed vision for something beautiful to come in the future. Number 4, the 4th sign is you have been through powerful inner healing yourself. I think this self-healing and the inner child healing and really knowing who you are in doing the inner work is profoundly important. Some people are ultimately not coachable because they are not willing to go there. And I want to be really honest, probably in my realm of, values, what love coaching is, the willingness to step into this rather deep work and into an inner world of dealing with, things that have been maybe happening many years ago, or even, through your parents transmitted. It's very, very important to be open to face that. And if you know that you have been through healing, facing those wounds already in your life, then certainly the willingness to go even deeper and to learn more about it is certainly part of it. So you have done the work and now you want to serve others on their journey. And number 5 is you long to help others to grow in love. I think the value of growth and personal development is for so many outstanding. Particularly, I see this again in these younger people I serve. 25, 27, my daughter is 29. I know there's a whole world out there. They really want to make it work. They really want to grow. They really want to be part of this evolution to make relationships effective and workable again. What they have learned from their parents, from our generation or even older, that divorces and these harsh decisions to make about letting relationships go because something wasn't really properly integrated in the first place. So you long to help others to grow in love. You know love transforms, and you feel called to share this very truth. There is something about growing through love and through relationships and relationship wisdom, which is very sacred. And I also will transmit that in my coaching and teaching to you in the future, would you decide to work with us. Love coaching versus other coaching modalities. So there's a distinct role and high impact value next to business and entrepreneurial leadership and even life coaching. I didn't write that here, but life coaching is very different to actual love coaching. We have a lot of elements of life coaching in it. I would like to say that love coaching and business coaching and entrepreneurial leadership coaching is sometimes closer than life and love coaching. And I tell you why. Because relationships are not just in our, intimate sphere. We actually learn through the tools we are taking on to be better communicator and seeing. I work with John Gray's team. John Gray is my mentor. Mars, Venus, men are from Mars, women are from Venus. The simple concept of gender intelligence is absolutely part of the necessary evolution to understand that, men in business, men in relationship, men in love act and react completely different than women in business and women in relationship and women in love. All right. So we are dealing here with a very, very interesting dynamic, and having love coaching chosen as your prime coaching modality is very distinct. And here I give you 7 key areas of love coaching. All right. There is almost so much going on that you could make it different professions. And some do. There are dating coaches. There are maybe, sex coaches or, communication coaches, most counselors who focus on marriage counselors coming to the picture, choosing this profession because they want to help marriages to heal and to last. We as love coaches, however, have the obligation to be very holistic because people come to us with all their heart problems. Okay. So that's around dating, about transition, they want to move on or out of a relationship. When they're single, they want to start over. Often, I have even people in quite advanced ages. I had never a relationship, so I only dated. So how do I do that? So that's happened to me in my practice as well. Bonding and communication is a huge part, particularly when I look at my whole Mars Venus journey and learning about, how you really differentiate a man's and a woman's idea about, what stands in a communicational process as important stepstones to come to a solution and resolution as a couple. Intimacy and sex life. That's huge. We are not doctors, but we have to understand some basic, terminology about hormones, about brain and hormones, about female and male evolution in the sexual health space. All right. So sexual hygiene is a huge part. A lot of people don't really understand what that is. I will in my teaching in the future go very much into this, because it's not just physical hygiene. We're talking actually about energetic hygiene, and that attaches issues around fidelity, about monogamy, the choice to be in an open relationship or to bond only with one partner. These are choices, but we need to make the agreements, and every partner we're meeting and invite to be intimate with us need to know whether they are exclusive or whether they are actually entering a space where somebody is having relationship with other partners as well. So often that is a gray zone. Can this be discussed or not? I think in growing time and the evolution showing us that being honest and being clear about that creates a huge relief for a lot of people who believe that they understand what they need and want, but ultimately maybe haven't understood the pain they would go through would they sign up for an open relationship, suddenly finding out that their partner actually is indeed involved with somebody else. So you don't want to really misjudge this as something that belongs into a different category of coaching. No, this is all part of the conversations we have as love coaches with our clients. And why now? The evolution of intimate relationships within multicultural lifestyles and a swift globalization. I'm amazed from how many cultures people come into my work life at the moment. I'm very interested to really see how much more there is to come in the future. But I live in Bali, mainly in Bali, as a New Zealander, born in Germany. I traveled this year, Europe. I was in Portugal. Apparently, Portugal and Spain have the highest divorce rate on this planet, with 94%. Now, I arrived in Lisbon. I had the most loving, connection to Portuguese people. And the first thing I said to everybody was, you're also kind, you're also loving. There's so much, a sense of peace and harmony in your mind or mentality. And later I found out that this quietness also was not something that allowed itself to express really deeper feelings, which is ultimately often a reason why couples break up. You don't talk about what's going on, and here, bang, we are. And what is happening as well in my career is I'm having more and more contact with, beautiful women and men from the Middle East. So I'm coaching, different religious backgrounds and faiths that I not belong to, but I have to learn and to understand their deep values, and helping them to make a connection to a Western partner. I have beautiful client from Iran, and she's just bonding with somebody from Europe, and he has also American background. So here we are. There's this lovely little interweaving of cultural bonding that creates a new generation of beautiful children that will carry all these ancestral genes that come from different parts of the world. But here we are, that's the times we're living in, and the globalization is part of this process of love coaching, I believe, because I, for very good reasons, call it the Global Love Coach Academy, because I do want, every culture and every faith and every continent be included into the picture. And it's really now, because particularly in the last 2 to 3 years, I find it's taking a new shape. A lot of people from, also Indian culture, I see this more and more. They're not just married or go in arranged marriages. No, they choose the person they love, and often it is somebody from a very different place in the world. Now I want to introduce you to my vision for the Global Love Coach Academy. The branding is almost completed. We will launch in the next 2 to 3 weeks, and I'm very excited. Our first training dates are confirmed for starting training internationally from the 26th of March 2026 onwards in Bali. So we are working very, very hard in the background to create an amazing platform for people to step in. So I'm very proud, and there will be another webinar very soon where we introduce all the details. So just my mission and vision is really to have more and more love coaches on this planet. If you bring it into comparison with people who talk about business, when you just need to go even on Instagram or Facebook or all the social media, so much about make money here, this is your tricks, this is this, these are the tools, download this, AI, da. So we're having all these amazing opportunities to grow us from a perspective of creating wealth and, professional opportunities. But very rarely I see clips that empower me to become a love coach or to actually look at your love life. There are a few very, very amazing love coaches on this planet. Some of them are my mentors and my teachers and have been. And with others, I collaborate and work. And I do know that there is material out there, but in the communities and in the local spaces of where people live and where we need to bring the education more into the families and into the marriages and long-term relationships, there's really lack. There's really, really lack. And many people would not turn to a professional easily. So it's our job to voice this amazing opportunity to actually link to somebody who has maybe through time and through education gained more understanding about how certain situations can be helped. I was in a conference this weekend, and there was promoted, this whole idea of domestic violence, or, in Eastern countries, girls become pregnant before they get married, then they will be excluded from their families. They're not allowed to have abortions. And, you think, oh, nice, love coaching. What has that to do with all these evolutionary issues on different parts of the world? And it is very, very true that there is an opportunity for us to help even cultural, niches we have not grown up in, because we, with our values given when we were younger, have a greater understanding how it positively can affect women and men and younger men who are educated but had not the chance to be educated before. So giving them the tools in different parts of the world to make choices, or to have choices and to make decisions that empower them, and ultimately also educate families not to exclude their daughter or their son just because something didn't go exactly to plan. So I carry the values of deep heart-mind coherence. For me, I'm a meditator since 45 years. I have been a love coach since more than 15 years. I come from a long line of healing and holistic vibrational medicine. So I have been working in film and arts. So for me, and I'm trained as an intimacy coordinator. I haven't finalized this training yet, but I had the idea after COVID to go in film and television to be an intimate coordinator, intimate director. And then it was very difficult to get the training done in New Zealand, Australia, and Bali. So mainly it's highly growing in Europe and the USA. And I still plan to finalize this as part of my long list of professional skills I gained over the last at least 45 years. All right. So gender identity is not, gender intelligence certainly is part of this, but I talk about an identity that you become the woman you want to be and the man you want to be, and whatever this means, and whomever you wish to love in this, that's your choice. but be clear. I think the clarity and the emotional integrity we gain from being clear. There's something really, really beautiful when we know what we want, that we are emotionally much, much more aligned, and we are much more in integrity with other people. We have emotional connections too. All right. So that's a big, big chapter of this work, to really, really be very, very heart-centered, and yet allowing intelligence to speak through us. Yeah, so there's a global expansion happening, certainly, and a legacy goal I have: training love leaders in every continent on the earth for all cultures and generations. So my clients, are as young as 16, 17, up to, endless. So core group of my clients probably are in their 40s and 50s, but I have to say that it becomes more and more evident that this work is going into younger generations, particularly because, good love coaches and the first generation of legacy coaches in love, they are maturing, and we're waiting for a next generation to come who step in and teach the new parents, the new families, the new marriages in the future. So ICF accreditation coaching training is very important to us. My global partner is president of one of the European chapters of the ICF. So I have the privilege to work with somebody who is very educated and very trained and very dedicated to the work of the International Coaching Federation to preserve every aspect of that, and that is ethics, standards, particular ways of, conducting your coaching practice when you have concluded your training. And this aspect is interweaving in our training from the first day of our training. So we will have 4 trainings modules as residential retreats over 4 weeks. So each trainings module is 7 days. By the end of 2026, you will have completed 125 hours. They're mostly held in Bali and in Europe next year. So we have a schedule prepared, and it will be communicated soon, but I can already confirm 26 March is the first module starting in Bali, in Uluwatu. And with half of these 125 hours, with around 62.5 hours, you are actually a certified coach. That means you can, after 2 modules, apply for your accreditation, and also you can coach. So you can start building your coaching practice and become professionally involved with your clients. And we will help you in that process. All right. So ultimately, my vision is that it will be a community of, it's not just a training, but we build a global network of coaches and future teachers. So what I'm doing now in becoming, after years and years being a coach, becoming a teacher to love coaches, I want you to become in the future. I want you to be the one who, after years of training and years of, I'm not saying years of training as education, but training of coaching others and being, experienced, you will then share your experience over time. And my vision is that in probably all the continents, somehow we have one coach with one kind of faculty that embraces community and those in their closer realm. So that again helps particular groups of faith, particular groups of values, that I certainly see that, a group of people in, let's say, India or the Middle East would develop their coaching practice very, very gracefully accordingly to their values, against what we have in Europe, or compared to what we do in Bali or in Australia or New Zealand. So I just say, that the opportunity to have this multicultural conversation as coaches and as networkers coaches is something I really, really look forward to experience. The future of relationship support. So for you, it's really a career integration as love and relationship coach. You will be involved in couples and singles retreat. And a big part of this training as well is the integrative work. It also includes some health and healing aspects and karmic family healing. So this is really the whole training in a nutshell. You will have couples coming into our training that, you know, are our so-called guinea pigs or our sample, you know, clients who dedicate their story and their need for support to our growing as coaches. The journey of transformation is from heartbreak to heart philosophy. So my vision is, if you have anywhere in you this still this niggling of something you want to heal or not, maybe there is no need for you to do some healing right now, but you know, from an aspect of, oh, I know how that feels, I have been there, to really becoming, you know, very intelligent and building hard philosophy within yourself. Philosophy is something you apply in a more higher integral way. So and I want you to integrate that in your very unique and personal developing story. So your love coaching style you will develop over time will be very unique. Like every healer, every professional who is really given the tools for their own evolution to flourish, you will find the exact way of how you and what type of coaching you want to fulfill within the love coaching domain. All right. So the steps are very simple. It starts with the personal evolution. You heal your very own relationship blueprint and love story. The step 2 is that you develop the skills and the knowledge. So we apply ICF coaching ethics and standard and advanced tools for professional love coaching. And step 3 is really service and practice, guiding and mentoring future clients from brokenness into breakthroughs. So your own story and your own coachability will reflect your ability to coach others. Therefore, it's very important that you understand you need to start with your own healing and be a coaching client for a little while yourself before you do this training, unless you are already a coach or a healer or have a very fair understanding of where this leads to for you. And next step, of course, is you turn this into a soulful business, turning your passion for love into a profitable profession. And now I tell you how to start the journey. Really, when you say yes, it's about heart intelligence, confidence, and self-mastery. You will gain conscious contribution and a deep, abundant mindset. And your next step to really fulfill all this is to say yes to an once-in-a-lifetime opportunity and to make a 3-month commitment to explore how professional love coaching affects your life. And that's very important. As I said, there is, before we start the training in March, there is still almost 6 months. So there's an opportunity to step in for 12 weeks and, you know, check out what it actually means to be love coached and be already prepared. Make one of the 3 major goals we will fulfill over the 12 weeks in your coaching. Make one of the 3 goals the preparation and the fulfillment of your readiness to start the training in March. All right. So I now show you the structure and the benefits of my Becoming Love coaching package, which is the flyer. So you see this also on my website. It gives you all the details, and I will not read this out now. You can see this all on my website. Down below in the description box here on YouTube, you can happily read everything in detail and then find the link to the Becoming Love landing page. So that's the structure. 12 weeks, 3 frequency phases. We're starting with the environment of love. So I would very much go with you through general, you know, ideas about your life and your love. And then I would also look at your home and your closest space. How do you live? What frequency, what love energy are you actually bringing into your space? And we will transform this together. And we integrate more in the second phase is the emotions. We will talk about past and current relationships and do a lot of healing around that, and build really, really a vision for you how you want to lead your love life from here. And the third part is really the evolution of identity, which is the identity of becoming a love coach. And if you find in this third month that you really are sparked and you're ready to do the training, then that will be our key goal for that particular phase of the coaching. So in the first months, as I said, we're creating a safe relationship space, quality time for love and growth. And that's the layout you see here. You can see this on my website, on the landing page. It gives you a bit of a general breakdown of the 4 weeks. And then we have month 2, the emotions. So it's all about healing, balance, and communication. You will go through a lot of, internal reflection of every area of your life affecting and reflecting onto your love life. There's really the understanding that emotions can only be balanced when you have a very stress-free and conscious approach to everything. I started the call in saying, the anxiety, the burnout, and the crisis. So any crisis situation in your life on whatever level, we want to address and help that you diminish and release it. Okay, so that's again the breakdown of that second month. That's a guideline. We don't need to do it exactly this way. If something comes up for you that is more personal, but I will make very sure that these elements are addressed in our 12 weeks, one by one. And then the last phase of the coaching is really you stepping into your very own unique love coach archetype. And that's this, I mentioned the archetype before. Here you are claiming absolutely what type of love coach you actually wish to be. Because when you have a particular idea of what you really bring into this work and why you want to be a love coach, then the niche crystallizes itself much easier than you just saying, oh, now I just study and I really just let it happen. I think being very intentional right from the beginning helps a lot to take every single lesson and every single class as an opportunity to differentiate how valuable it is for your own evolution and how you actually integrate it to actually exercise it later with your clients. And that's the third month's breakdown. And you, as I said, you find this all on my website under the Becoming Love subpage, the landing page. So the benefits is, to do this program, it's a true preparation for the training, but not just for the training. It's really about personal transformation and career guidance. I would say that probably those who do this program before coming into the training will have really, really advantage doing the training, because so much of what I will talk in the training and what we will address is already understood through your own experience in, number one, having worked with me personal as your love coach, and also, having really looked at the issues that are important to you. And sometimes, there are women or men who decide to become a relationship coach in a very, very particular niche for a very particular reason. And that's what I wish you to discover for yourself. Who am I? Why would I do that? And what is really the ultimate outcome for me to see this growing in my own, professional career life? Yeah, so the investment for this Becoming Love program is either a payment in full, about $111 paid in full, or we can break it down in a payment plan, $140. So once again, all the links are beneath in the description box, adrianvenus.com or globallovecoachacademy.com. is the link to my Love Coach website. For those who know me from New Zealand, lovecoach.co.nz is still existing as a URL as well. So if you are ready, we love to talk to you. If you don't want to pay, book a call with me. The call link for booking the call, the booking link is also beneath in the description box. So whatever information you need, you can get from us. And the email address is there as well, and my WhatsApp number. Yeah, here's some testimonials. So I'm really proud of having delivered amazing contribution to people's life over the years, and some very interesting people, some famous people, some very, very, lovely and quiet people. And more than anything, I think seeing communities shifting and changing. And I don't know how much I have contributed already in Bali, but I know I have become a little bit of somebody to call onto. I'm already somebody who is said, oh, see Adrien, because she knows what this is about. And I'm also psychic, and as you know, I love visionary, so I integrate, particularly in my one-to-one work, a lot of psychic work if people ask for it, all right? But it's not always what people ask for. So it's a very personal mix of tools we are building into your coaching program. Yeah, so there will be bonuses, early access and savings. I haven't listed these here. I would like to discuss them with you personally. Would you be interested? The bigger why is really bring it back as one last message. We all want to contribute to humanity's relationship renaissance. And when we say renaissance, it's really very clear that relationships have lost a lot of their intentionality. We want to bring this back. Yeah, and here the bigger why. We really ultimately want to contribute to humanity's relationship renaissance. Over the last 10 to 20 years in particular, a lot of, shifts and changes happened, and relationships lost their hope and spark. So we want to bring this back. We want to make it fashionable again to be in long-term relationships, which has not been communicated lots in the last 5 years in particular. So I think we have an incredible opportunity to reshape and re-alive something that is important for every human being in our evolutionary space on planet Earth. And now take a moment, just sit down and close your eyes. And I want to just give you this last little contemplation moment. And, feel is this idea of becoming a love coach, helping dating and people to bond and to communicate and in their, intimate lives and talking about everything that's dear to their heart. Is that something that resonates with you? Then yes, if that is a little spark in you that says, oh, this is really interesting, I would like to explore that, then you are in right hands. And please come our way and connect with me, and we can certainly explore this. Yeah, here's my details. Here again, all these details you find below. The world needs you. So my Love Coach website, the link to my booking space, so that you can choose the time you are available to have a conversation with me. The discovery call is free. 30 minutes of my time are my gift to you. So everything else after we can negotiate and discuss. And ultimately, if you just want to send me an email, info@lovecoach.co.nz. And now I want to thank you for joining and for listening and having come to this point of the presentation. Obviously, if you are here, then you heard it all, and hopefully all. If it's intriguing and interesting, please reach out. We're thanking you with all our hearts, and I look forward meeting you very, very soon online, and hopefully not just online, in person in Bali in 2026. Thank you so very much. And I wish you a very beautiful day and an even more beautiful love life. And may you be happy and healthy and fulfilled on every step in your life. Thank you so much.
Open skies. This is